right. Okay, great. And guys, welcome to learn how gratitude has transformed many people's lives. Okay, this is a talk with Ashish and Nupur. And let me just do a quick introduction. Dr. Nupur Agarwal is a certified mindfulness expert and a clinical hypnotherapist. Over the last 5 years, she has worked at London NHS Hospital supporting cancer patients. She has a vast clinical experience and has been offering her expertise in the field of mind body medicine. Her research has been published and awarded at an international medical conference. Through the pandemic, she has not only supported the hospital staff and patients with mindfulness practices, but also offered her services to senior leadership in the corporate sector as well. And Ashish has founded Mindful Living in 2018 after working in the corporate sector for like over 25 years in senior management roles with leading Indian and multinational companies. He holds an MBA from Symbiosis Institute of Business Management and is also qualified as a CWA from the Institute of Cost and Works Accountants of India. He is also a fellow of Life Management Institute USA. Articles written by him on mindfulness, healthcare, and health insurance have been published by leading business magazines. So let's welcome both Ashish and Nupur. Hi Ashish, hi Nupur. How are you guys?
Very well. Thank you, Rishi, for having us over on your webinar.
Hi, Rishi. Thank you. And a very warm welcome to all the participants. Thank you for having us.
Great. So I let's just get this thing rolling because I think most people would like to understand your journey. So let's start with that. How did you guys get to this point? And whoever wants to go first, I guess.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for that question, Rishi. And thanks everybody for joining us on this webinar. We really appreciate your taking our time and joining us today. We will make sure that you get very high ROTI, return on time invested, by coming here. So, Rishi, my background is in insurance sector. I spent about 20 years in life insurance, health insurance, and healthcare sectors. And one of the things I learned early on in insurance is if you want more output, if you want more results, you need to increase the input, So I got onto a path where, suppose if I'm meeting 20 people, 5 sales would come, which is about 25% conversion. And if I want to increase my sales from 5 to 10, I need to meet from 20 to 40 people. And then, for increasing my output, I started increasing the input. But what I was finding was that I kept on increasing the input. So I met 40 people, but sales remained at 5. I met 80 people, sales remained at 5. I met 100 people, sales remained at 5. So I kept on working more and more, putting in a lot of efforts, but the results were not coming. And my wife and I would get frustrated, discuss with my wife, I'm working so hard, putting in so much efforts, why the results are not coming? But we kind of didn't have an answer to that till one of my friends, junior from the college, recommended a book by Rhonda Burns, The Magic, which is about gratitude. And I learned about gratitude and I practiced what was mentioned in the book. And my life transformed within 28 days of those specific practices. And we got so much benefited, and we tested it with other people also, and then we made a program out of that. So that's in brief my journey. There are more things I can talk about as we go along.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Nupur, would you like to also, add your journey to and share with us how you got into this?
Yeah, Rishi, thank you. Sure, I would love to. So yeah, I have a clinical background. I've been in a proper hardcore clinical setup for 12 years, working in hospitals and coming across people of all age groups and all conditions. It was very early on in my career, I started to realize that people might have a similar diagnosis, they may be given a similar prognosis, but there was something different about people who had a certain mindset that helped them in their recovery and in their healing, and how quickly they would bounce back. And that's what got me thinking that, and it was actually thanks to some of my patients who got me thinking beyond a very narrow clinical perspective of medicine and surgery and go beyond an entire scope. And that's where I expanded my own journey, and that's what I am now. I'm a mind body mentor. I'm into mind body medicine. I deal with more than medicine and surgery, and in fact, only with mindfulness, meditation, hypnotherapy, and a big part of my transition into something beyond the conventional was gratitude, because that's what I noticed, that the patients, the people who were diagnosed with conditions who had a streak of gratitude, and that goes beyond saying thank you, their perspective was totally different. And that what was the key element in their wellness, in their recovery, in them living a life not confined with a death sentence. So many times they were terminal patients, and I realized the power in this. And thanks to them, I started on a totally different trajectory in my career path. And today I'm on a spiritual path, and I totally understand now that science and spirituality are not different. And gratitude is that link. Gratitude is now researched. We have evidence. It is science. It is spirit. So that's where my passion for gratitude is actually coming from, and that's what led us to that's what got me and Ashish together to develop programs on that.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. So
Thank
just
you.
like Ashish had his source, which was the book
Yeah.
by Rhonda on
Rhonda
magic,
Byrne.
right? Random, yeah. And did you have a book similarly that led you to this, or was it the same book? And then you say, "Oh, you
Not
read the book too. I read the book too." Was it something like that?
not really. I think the book came quite late in my life. It was more my personal experiences, because as a clinician, you are so busy, you really don't have anything else to read but your course, and then perform, and then come back and barely sleep. So for me, it was, and also I'm a Advaita philosopher. I follow Advaita, a non-dual path. And my guru told me one thing, that was, if there is one prayer you have time for in your life, let that be thank you. And I think one thing led to another, and eventually I came on to Rhonda Burns also, and met Ashish, and obviously, then we spoke about this, Ashish and I, and that's
Right.
where it all started.
Fabulous, fabulous, great. So tell us more about this program that you guys have created.
Yeah.
Ashish,
So
do you want to go first?
sure. Thanks for that, Rishi. So we've done fair bit of research on gratitude. We studied the work done by Deepak Chopra, Oprah Winfrey. Uh, then Harvard Business Review is researched a lot on gratitude, and there is work done by Janice Kaplan. So we've done fair bit of research in this, and we have created a program which transforms the life of people, which has transformed the life of people in three key areas, starting with health, because there are a lot of people facing health issues, and it's not only physical health that I'm referring to, it is also the mental health, a lot of stress, anxiety, depression, and a lot of other challenges. So it transforms the life in the area of mental health and physical health. Then the second challenge we are hearing a lot these days is about relationships, because people have feeling trapped in their homes, and even though I'm not only referring to families where there are discord, but even if you love each other, just being together 24 hours is not an easy thing for many people. So how to handle relationship, and then it gets complicated if the relationships are not good. So how to handle relationships is the second part of the program. And the third, which is very important, is also the finances. So a lot of people these days are struggling with debt issues, with managing their money. So how to manifest financial prosperity and abundance. So these are the three pillars that this program covers.
Wow, awesome. Nupur, did you want to add anything else from your point of view about this program?
Yeah, absolutely, Rishi. So this program comes inspired by a lot of big names and authors and people who have actually, they practice what they preach, and everything is in the public domain. So anybody who wants to read about them is very welcome to. But something that I would say is a unique signature of of us in this program is that it carries a lot of, as we were going on the journey of developing this program, it was amazing the insights that we started to receive. And it was almost like the universe was wanting us to create and develop and deliver this program. It was the need of the hour because we were going through the thick of the pandemic that at that point in time also. So it was almost like the universe whispering in our ears, and some of the practices and some of the insights we didn't come across anywhere, and we have done some research, trust me, we have. So I think this program also carries a lot of our research and the insights that we had, which were quite amazing to us also, that wow, and also again, it is not just about understanding gratitude from a feel-good perspective. This program carries a lot of science to it. There are a lot of laws of physics. We were amazed at recognizing that this has to work like gravity works. So I almost call it the gravity of gratitude because it has a lot of science. Ashish calls it mathemagical because it delivers like that. So yes, it has a lot of unique stuff in it. Thank
Okay,
you.
very nice. So how many sessions have you guys done so far? These gratitude program sessions.
We have been invited a lot to speak on this topic, Rishi. We have done over 30 sessions, and in one of those sessions, we had like 1,200 people attending. So
Wow.
this is something which is resonating a lot with people, and there is a reason for that. Like Dr. Nupur mentioned, it's scientific, it's science based, and also it is very simple. It is. And very safe, and it takes very less time. Like I mentioned, return on time invested. So this is one of those practices which is safe and delivers very high return for the time invested. Because one of the things we hear with people is, Ashish, I want to change my life, but I don't have time. Please hurry. Give me something which can work like quickly. So this is that practice which we found, which is safe. You can do this while you're on the move. You can do this while you are at home, and it like works. It works mathematically, like Dr. Nupur said.
So, Nupur, did you want to add to that, or I have another question in my mind, so I just
No,
wanted to
go
check.
ahead, Rishi, please. I think Ashish covered it quite
Okay,
well. So yeah.
awesome, great. So, I just want to try, at least for the people who have come and attending this talk right now. A lot of people said, "Is this for me?" Like, how would you be able to categorize that? If you are like this, then this program is for you, so that they can at least identify if this is something they should pursue after this, after watching this webinar. If they want to know more, they can get in touch with you and all that stuff. So, how would you categorize who would find this beneficial?
Yeah, that's a very good question, Rishi. And like I said, anybody who's putting in a lot of efforts but not getting commensurate results, those people should definitely consider this. And these are times like that. We are going through very tough times where people are working very hard to get the same level of output or even less output. So if people are struggling with that issue, that is one of the things people should look at. Second, anybody who is having mental health, is stressed or is in tension or having relationship issues, those are the people who should look at. And we have heard all kinds of issues in terms of relationships which people have had. And also there have been bereavements, and people are grieving. So those are difficult situations in our life to deal with. So this is something which works for everybody, almost without exception, I would say. And the beauty of this is, those who have issues can do it to resolve the issues. But even if people don't have issues and they practice it, their life goes to the next level. So to that extent, it works for everybody. And I would request Dr.
Yeah. I totally agree. I mean, that's such an important point that you make there, because um, we rarely do we live in isolation. Well, obviously we are isolated right now but we have families that we are living with, or a partner or somebody at home for most of us. And And gratitude has a knock-on effect. So, when you are practicing it, it's not just you. There are people around you that are benefiting, and that's what we find. That's so powerful. And coming to the point, in fact, Rishi, I was having a chat with one of my clients the other day, and she said that, how do I get my child to practice gratitude? Children have become so thankless today. And that's what, in fact, it was a couple. So both of them were saying that, and there is a part of the privileged society that I call, there is this haves and have nots, but the haves, there is such a sense of entitlement in children these days. There is this sense that obviously it is meant to be for us. And somewhere parents are bewildered that where is the sense of entitlement coming? And, gratitude is so important in a generation that is coming, whether they are in their, I think as soon as you get some cognitive abilities to understand and to argue with your parent or with your caregiver, gratitude has to be injected in their upbringing. So, I know we don't have any children around on the call today, but on the webinar, but, if parents learn it, this is a skill they can make their children understand, because, we want to kind of have a generation that's growing up with values, not with a sense of entitlement, and and kind of narrow the gap between the haves and have nots. So I think gratitude is that thread that can tie our societies together. So this is for everybody, to be honest.
Okay. Wow. Okay, great. That is a good point you make over there. I'd like to get to the next point of my question, which is, there are many of these types of programs, right? I mean, I myself have done some other programs from some other trainers, and I found them to be pretty great, and gratitude works for me. So, I mean, you're already preaching to the choir here when you're talking to me. I already know what you guys are saying is absolutely bang on.
Yeah.
But, one of the things people do, they come, they want to listen, and then they're like, but sach mein chalta hai kya? Like, have you guys had any cases or something that you guys would like to talk about where, this happened or something happened? Can you talk a little bit about those examples or something like that you've seen in the last 30 odd sessions, and that you've got like processed 1200 people in one batch also? So has there anything, something that you can share with the audience?
That's a very good point that you have raised, Rishi. The gratitude is a heart energy. So for it to work, it's very important that we feel grateful. So people who do this so it's not about thinking gratitude, it's about feeling gratitude. And anybody who feels gratitude will 100% get results. And we have seen so many, starting with my own example that I was sharing. During the COVID, during the pandemic, when everything was locked down, when I started practicing gratitude, my family income went up by 40% in 1 month. I had some health issues that got resolved, and we have seen this with other people. One of the participants in our program, she had neck pain. 3 days, her cervical was gone. Another elderly lady, she was taking painkillers for pain in her knee. She stopped taking the painkillers. People started new businesses. So there was a lawyer, and in the pandemic, the courts were closed and she had no source of income during those months. She got a consultancy assignment, to support her during those months. People started businesses, and, so a lot of things happened and there is a lot of evidence we have got of people who practice these practices. We have very specific practices in our program, which cuts through the challenges which people are facing. See, we are all you made a very interesting point that it didn't work for me. See, we are inherently so far, I have not met in my life anybody who says I'm not grateful. Everybody is grateful. But, the quantum of concentrated gratitude you need to do for addressing the challenge in your life, that is what our practices in the program talk about.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And as Ashish was mentioning, one particular incident that comes to my mind of one of our participants was, this is a gentleman, I think, in his 50s, and he didn't share with us in the beginning of when the program started, but towards the end of the program, what he shared was so profound that he had a very troubled relationship with his father. And it was to the point that probably they weren't even seeing eye to eye, and there was a lot of animosity in the relationship, a lot of turbulence. And he told us that, guess what, I didn't expect it, but not I'm not feeling that kind of hurt and hate for my father. And for somebody to address that and speak about that, that having years and probably decades of that kind of negativity in your heart for your biological parent, how debilitating might that be for somebody, and to actually release that, and perhaps even forgive, and how freeing that was for him. And I think that was a very, um, each person had an impact, but personally for me, I was gobsmacked, and I was in awe, and I was in gratitude to universe that, why should we live and carry this burden of strained relationships, of pain, hurt, anger, resentment, and I know for a fact that they all contribute to our physical ill health, dis-ease, if you can deconstruct the word is, when there is dis-ease, and all these emotions create that. So if we can release that, and gratitude is such a powerful way to do that. Also, Rishi, something that came to my mind, and it's such a fact actually, that we often practice these things individually. You can say, oh, I'm a grateful guy, I thank enough people every day, and but what happens is, when we come together on a course, there's a group energy. We are more than one, we are more than, and we are a group. And when we focus with that kind of energy on a particular, with that momentum, we see mind-boggling results. And that's because we are not just focusing for ourselves, we are focusing for each other. It's almost like, being in an army together, and having each other's back. So it's a group energy that makes magic. And that's what happens.
My internet is, so I might have missed some of the stuff that you said because my internet went for a toss. But
No worries.
I guess, you guys were able to hear each other, I'm hoping. Ashish, Nupur, were you able to hear each other?
I was talking, but I'm hoping people were able to hear me. Okay, yeah,
No,
yes.
so Ashish, if you heard Nupur, then I guess everybody heard you.
Yeah, so that was my two pence there. Thank you.
Yeah. I think Rishi
Okay.
is.
All right, great. Yeah, I'd like to dive into some questions from the audience. If you guys are okay, can I get into some questions from the audience, because I can see them already coming in the chat, and there's
Of
already
course,
tuned
yeah,
the Q&A. Is that okay?
Yes.
sure.
Yeah. Okay, great. Is my video lagging a big time? Is it like horrible right now?
No, Rishi, you're back on track. As far I'm concerned, I can see you, hear you well. There, now that goes on a bit of a freeze.
So
Maybe we can take up the questions while Rishi logs back in.
yeah, sure. Anybody would like to share their questions could unmute themselves and speak, or put it in the
So
chat.
I can see the questions here, because I'm not sure if they can, guys, if you can unmute yourselves, please go ahead and unmute, because
Question, Dr. Nupur, from Matthew.
yeah,
Matthew Cherian, to manifest a desired thing, how many days should we practice gratitude?
well, yeah. So in our experience, a consistent practice of at least 21 days, if not more, 21 to 28 days, has shown to definitely create shifts. It could be sooner, it could be later, but 21 to 28 days, because also we have to understand that what are we trying to do here? Hi, Rishi, are you back? Yeah.
Yes, I'm back. Sorry.
That's all right. That's
Start with
fine.
the
I'm
first
so
question.
happy that you guys took on the questions directly.
We
Yeah,
thought
that's
while
great.
you're
Thank you so
joining
much.
back, we'll just take the questions. Also, was the question asked by Matthew? Yeah. So Matthew, what happens is that there is some science here also involved, because now we know that what we are doing here is we are creating new neural pathways. It's almost like when we are, how does a habit get formed? Because the neurons start to fire and wire together. So we create new neural pathways. And we have seen that for anything new to become a habit for us, internally, it takes us around that much time for these neural pathways to get formed. So by then it becomes kind of a known learned behavior for us. And throw in your conviction, throw in your trust, throw in your commitment to the process. So it would, I would say 21 to 28 days is the time you would take some, to see. Ashish, please go ahead and yeah.
Yeah, surely. Thanks for sharing that, Dr. Nupur. And one more thing I would like to suggest is, which makes a difference in manifesting, is the clarity in what we want. So one of the exercises that we do during this program is to write down what you want with clarity and get some clarity around it. Once we are clear, the process of manifestation is facilitated.
Awesome. Great. I'll Matthew, if you need a follow-up question, go ahead and ask that. His second question, did you guys take? What are the quantum or measure of gratitude we should put in? That also you have addressed, right?
Now, the second one,
Sorry,
Dr.
did I lose you guys again?
No. I'm here. What is the quantum or measure of gratitude we should put in? Well, it's a very interesting question which we address in the program actually. Gratitude tends to grow. It tends to snowball. So we start with something simple, but then we create that's the whole program, that we create a magnitude like a force, almost akin to gravity. And once that momentum is reached, it starts to have a life of its own, and that's where it continues to propel on its own. So it's like you may start practicing gratitude for one aspect of your life, but you will be amazed that the impact happens in all aspects of your life. So the momentum keeps continuing.
Wow, awesome. Did you want to add to that, Ashish?
No, I think it's good.
Okay, great. I'll take a couple of questions. Those who want to ask questions verbally, like the way Gaya Sudin Ali has raised his hand and Nimish has raised his hand, I'll open the microphone. And for the rest of you on the chat, I'll take you guys next. Okay, I think only Nimish has put his hand up, allowed to talk. All right, Nimish, your
Yeah,
mic is open. Yes, hi.
yeah, yeah. Hi. Can you hear me well?
Yes, we
Loud
can.
and clear.
Yeah. I just have a question. How does it relate? Does it relate to a subconscious mind, or I'm a cutthroat follower of Think and Grow Rich. I practice the book. I follow Think and Grow Rich in a very quick way. So the the message what Think and Grow Rich says that money in the bank. That's the prosperity what it gives. So how do we relate the rituals of gratitude in this connection? Like, does it have any, how does it act in that way?
Ashish,
So,
nobody wants to take that.
yeah, so Nimish, did you also mention the subconscious mind there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, well, I work with subconscious mind, so it definitely impacts subconscious mind. So if you understand that once something becomes your default mode, it then tends to impact your subconscious, because that's subconscious mind is like a hard drive that stores information, and that's where you tend to then act from, like on an autopilot. So when gratitude becomes your embodied mode, you tend to be on autopilot with gratitude, and that's when the subconscious also gets triggered, and it subconscious gets to know that this person is now operating from the platform of gratitude energetically, vibrationally. And then and perhaps then you start to trigger your life around you with that vibration and frequency. And these are the words we are going to be using a lot in the program. How are you creating a high vibrational state for yourself? And does it manifest into a financial abundance? Why not? It also depends on how much are you allowing it in your life to happen.
Yeah. Great. So, Nimish,
One more,
yeah, go ahead.
one more question. There's something is the fear and worry factor,
Yeah.
which blocks the happenings of the subconscious mind, or when a person is in fear and worry mode, things doesn't work. So in that case, how does the gratitude help in that case?
Yeah, so gratitude actually, that's a very valid question, Nimish. Thank you for asking that. Gratitude actually helps us to shift our focus. And that is one of the biggest powers of gratitude, that you may be having a crisis at hand. You may be going through a fear-based emotion, but understanding that through gratitude, we are not changing this life situation or circumstance, but we are changing where does our focus lie. And a lot of times we become very myopic when problems happen. We become very over focused over the challenges and the fears. And gratitude is like an energy shifter. It shifts our focus, and energy lies where the focus is, you
Okay,
know.
so just to follow up from Nimish's question, like just to give it more clarity, maybe what I'm thinking here, I also have been through that same process, right? Now, how are we going to manage the situation? You're overwhelmed and stuff like that. So I think when we're in that mess, we just can't see anything, right? We're just stuck there. But then I want to ask you guys, is it that when you realize that should I want to get out of this, what's the option? And then you remember that, hey, I had done that, I heard that talk, the webinar. The gratitude is the shifter. I mean, so that means okay, we can now maybe even do your program and then learn those techniques and then practice it. And then once you make the shift, then the things change. How does it, can you talk a little bit about, you said it is the you don't remember it, but when you do, that's the only time you can get out of it, right? Until that time, you're stuck in that loop of things are horrible, things
Absolutely.
are going bad, you're stuck. You can't do
It's
jack
it's
about it.
it's
But now the
it's
fact
it's
that Nimesh is
yeah.
here it means he's making that shift. So I think the only way to make the shift is when they do the
It's almost
practices
like
and then
changing the
become
gear,
aware
you
of
know.
it.
We have to change our emotional and mental gear and shift from that state into a much more broader state. And as you said, you're so over focused, you're so myopic at that point that you need to shift your focus. And once you start to learn how to shift the focus, then that becomes your mode. You start to operate on that.
Great. Awesome. Great. So Nimish, if you have a follow-up question, just let us know and we'll open your mic. All right.
Yeah, I got the answer. That's fine. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, we'll take some more questions from the chat. The next question is from a gentleman called Raj. Raj is saying, is there a program on gratitude or just a chit chat with facilitators? No. So, Raj, good news. After we're done with questions, or maybe when we're running out of time, I will be talking about the program that they're going to do. In fact, I'll probably answer this myself because I've known Ashish for quite a few years now. And I had told him about this particular online school that I'm trying to create, and he was very excited with the idea. So they're going to make their workshops available through my school, online school. As first, they will do it live, and then those live sessions will get recorded, and those recorded sessions will be made available to not only those who attended it, but even for new people that come for it later. So we will be sending you a link on how you can enroll for this gratitude program itself. Next question is from Teji. Um, so beautifully said, we need to build a world with more and more people who practice gratitude. Okay, this was just her reflection and appreciation for what's been happening. Raj, I think I missed out the agenda then. Okay, all right. I have personally experienced the impact of that. Okay, these are just people chatting about, they're just sharing their thoughts. I guess these are not questions. I'll just skip to the next one. Rajiv, can you recover? Okay, this is a question from Rajiv Bansali. Can you recover losses incurred during COVID period just by practicing gratitude? So I think you responded to that, but maybe you want to expand. Do you guys want to add something to that?
So I'll take that one. There is Dr. Nupur spoke about the vibrational energy associated with gratitude, and I would like to cite example of a gentleman called Vahehi Takeda, Waheitaka, who's unfortunately no more, but he is often referred to as the Warren Buffett of Japan. You know, he was a billionaire, and one of the things he would do the whole day is keep saying thank you money, you know, or arigato money. And the you know the, his his constantly saying thank you and expressing gratitude for the money that he has, kind of just kept multiplying the wealth and abundance that he had. And that works for everybody. It's not that because he's a billionaire it worked for him. Similarly, the Oprah Winfrey is another person I would like to give you an example of. She was born to a single unwed mother on a farm, and she's now worth about $3 billion. And once a reporter asked, and she has done a lot of work in gratitude. And once a reporter asked her, Oprah, it's very easy for you to be grateful because you've got everything. And Oprah gave a very beautiful answer. She said, it's not because I have got everything I am grateful. It is because I have grateful, I have got everything. So once we start practicing gratitude, I'm not sure what is the quantum of your loss and what's the kind of time frame you're looking at. But once you start practicing gratitude, it moves up your energy. It's like taking an elevator. It's literally like taking an elevator and moving from low energy state in which Rishi was saying we get trapped to moving up to high energy states. And once you're operating out of the high energy state, manifestation becomes very simple. Manifestation becomes very easy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nupur, did you want to add something to that? Or we can move to the next question?
No, I think that was beautifully said. We can definitely move on. Thank you.
All right, great. Next one is again from Matthew. His question is, aren't we lying to our subconscious mind initially by saying thank you when the thing we desire does not exist right now? That's a good question.
That's a good question. Yeah, wonderful question, Matthew. Um, okay, so there is a very interesting piece of research that I will share with to answer that, but also to say that what you don't have right now is your perceived lack of something, right? And gratitude is not necessarily saying thank you for the lack. Gratitude is trying to shift your focus into the so much that you already have, the abundance that maybe perhaps already in your life, which you are overlooking. So what happens is when we are focused only on the lack of not having something, not having lack, a mindset of scarcity, and that's unfortunately, it hypnotizes us into believing that I am a loser, I am a failure, I have not that, I don't have that. So what gratitude is doing is it's not asking you to be thankful for what you don't have, it's asking you to be thankful for so much more that you have. Perhaps you have overlooked that, right? So that's one thing, one aspect of the equation. And once you are thankful for things in your life, you'd be surprised how it snowballs into even your challenge, even in your issue. So eventually your issue will get addressed, but not directly, it will get addressed indirectly. And secondly, our mind, now we have some amazing neuroscience research to tell us that our mind doesn't understand real from imagined. So if I ask you to see a red apple and I ask you to imagine a red apple, the same parts of your brain will get lit up. And this is a scientific study. So when you imagine having something which you don't have, you are actually not lying to the subconscious, because the brain is very literal. Imagined or real, it cannot differentiate. So these are the nuances into which we are going to get into the program. So thank you for asking that question.
I'd like to add something to Matthew's question here of my own personal experience. Sorry for the noise. For my personal experience as of last night. Okay, I mean, and this is again because just like Ashish and Nupur are teachers, I've been also been learning from another teacher also, and in this, the example last night was the fact that we had this, you know, hailstorm. There was like ice falling on the ground here because I'm on a farm here, and it was beautiful, fantastic rain that was happening, and I guess it rained so hard that freaking some water came in, and then the whole bed got wet, and I was like everything was dripping, and like, oh god, this is like that. So the first thing that I was like, holy shit, this is fucked up, and then I said, whoa, wait a second, gratitude, right? What can I be thankful about out here? So then I just, and these were the things I did literally. I just so happened, out of my two laptops, one I packed it and I had taken it to the other house where we were sitting and chilling while this house was getting drenched. So I said, shit, I mean, there's somebody looking over me here where this laptop I took there, which was nicely protected and didn't get wet. Because this laptop would have been open and water would have fallen directly in it, and that would have been the end of this laptop, and I would have to cancel today's webinar. The other laptop was shut, so the water did fall on it, but it was on top, so it's still working fine. So these are the types of things that I started to look at and say that, okay, I am really, really happy that this didn't get screwed. So I have to change the focus always to what got saved and how lucky I am to have that. And therefore, my mood didn't go into like, what the shit, man? Why did this happen to me, man? So I kind of practiced this, and this was as of last night's experience. So
Amazing, amazing. That just says it all, doesn't it? Yeah.
Now
yes.
you know the secret of your high energy, Rishi.
That's true. That's true. Okay, I'm going to mark this as live, answered live. And Matthew, if you have a follow-up question, go ahead and ask. I'll take just one more question here. And I have some questions which had been written to me by email, which I'll take on. But I'm just being careful of the time. It's already 7:42. So I will give the information for this upcoming workshop that you're going to be organizing. So one last question from an anonymous attendee is, I have wanted to be in a respectful relationship for a while now, but somehow it has been impossible. What should someone like me do in such a case?
Yeah. So relationships is again a very tricky territory, because there are so many facets to a relationship. Understanding that gratitude, again, as we said, is a changing of your perspective. It's a changing of your entire belief system, your life, your lifestyle, and sometimes that could mean that recognizing your own value in a relationship, your own worth in a relationship. And once you start respecting yourself and your worth, respect is something that will come naturally to you. And these are exactly the kind of questions which we are going to be dealing with. So when you are in a group, as I said, group energy helps, because then, to whatever extent you can open up and share the exact problems that you're going through in a relationship. Because they can be, we could just speculate, and this is probably a much more open forum to ask you very personal questions. And so that's what I would like to answer that by saying that, there is so much more that you can do in a relationship, but it all starts with you. First, understand how gratitude can help you respect yourself, become a much more loving person to yourself, and then that automatically would translate into any relationship. Have we lost Rishi there?
No, Rishi's there.
Yeah, okay. Maybe it was my internet was freezing up a bit.
No, but he's not speaking.
Let me see if there's any other question while we are waiting for
So there is
Rishi.
From Raj. No, so this is, I think.
So yeah, we have probably answered most of the questions. I think let's, yeah, so Rishi has had to drop out of the call, guys. I think he'll join us back very soon. Yeah.
Okay, guys, sorry, I got disconnected. I'm back. Was that question answered? Because I missed the answer. I'll probably have to watch the recording.
Yeah. We managed to answer that, but as we said that, we have to be a little more specific about these things, and perhaps we have an exclusive session on relationships, right, Ashish?
Yeah.
I think it is on day 2 that we are dealing with the relationships. Yeah.
So let me just dive into and talk about the program a little bit, and then we can take some more questions, and then we can conclude because we've got about 15 minutes left. So guys, this program that is being conducted by both Ashish and Nupur is called Magic with Gratitude. It's a 3-day course, but this is being conducted across 3 weeks, because I think when you do the first one, when you do, you'll have to do some activities. They'll give you some fun and engaging tasks, and between sessions you'll have to do something to see that you get the results. So that's why it's 3-day course, but across 3 weeks. And I think the first day they're doing is on 25th of Feb. It's a 90-minute session from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. And the next one's on 4th of March. And the day 3 is on 11th of March. So you'll have time in between to experience the various things that they're telling you to do. You can actually practice it and then see results. Which I like programs which are result oriented. So I think they've done it very nicely. That the fact that they've spaced it out. This program is available for 4,499, 4,499, and I requested Ashish and Nupur if they could make an offer for the people who are right now live. This is only an offer available for the people right now. After 10 minutes of this offer will go away. So Ashish, can you tell us if there's any offer that you can give for the people right now who might want to be interested to take your program up?
Sure, Rishi. I would at this stage also like to thank you and the people who are there on this call. This is such a vibrant community of people and such high quality of questions, that we have got. So we're very happy to be here and offer a special prize wherein we'll be giving 500 rupees off to anybody who is going to be signing now. And in addition to that, one additional bonus session. So we will not have 3, but we will have 4 sessions for people who are signing up now. And the idea of giving the 4th bonus session is so that people can practice it and come back with any queries, So we really want to make sure that people get results with this practice. And that is the reason we are making this special offer for people who are there on the call today.
Awesome. That's great. So then let me just go ahead and make a change of the price, because you had earlier told me the price had to be uh, 4,499. So the new price with the 500 discount is now 3,999. Is that it?
Yes, and it includes tax, so no more taxes. It's inclusive of tax.
Including of GST. All right, fabulous, great. So let me save this and make this offer available right now. Oops, let me unlock. And let me just share this link with you guys. For those of you that found this information useful and would like to go ahead and take this offer, we're going to make this available right now. This is the link. I'm going to share it on the chat. Here we go, chat window. This one is to panelists and all attendees. Here we go. So this is a link. You can make the payment through either your credit card, debit card, NEFT bank transfer, Google Pay, this pay, that pay, all wallets. So go ahead and make use of this offer. I'm going to actually set a timer for about 10 minutes because we have about 10 minutes to go. So let me just reset this to 10 minutes and start the timer. And then I'm going to request a few more questions that came to me by email. And of course, if you're here and you're listening to this program and you want to ask questions, use the Q&A box and we would be happy to answer you in the next 10 minutes. So one of the questions that came to me is, is this concept scientifically proven? Now, you did mention that it is scientifically proven. So can you just delve a little bit more into that?
Yeah, sure, Rishi. So the science of gratitude is something that has been researched now, because now we have a lot of understanding that the world is almost going into a kind of a opioid addiction, where people are getting addicted to pain medication in general. So there's a lot of emphasis in the scientific and the medical world to find ways in which we can support well-being. We can support people who are going through challenging situations in their physical body, mental, emotional space. And that's where gratitude came up as one of the highlighted practices for the simplicity of it, but for the profundity of it, the magnitude of its effect. And we came to see that we all actually are walking, talking chemical factories. We produce so many chemicals in the body that impact our well-being and disease, or create an imbalance and causing disease. So gratitude is seen to impact all of these biochemical markers, whether we talk about cortisol, which is the stress hormone, or we talk about oxytocin, which is the love hormone. And gratitude had a significant impact on our internal biochemistry. It had impact on our neural centers. As I was saying, different parts of neural centers started to light up, and they were doing research on participants. So yes, there is enough science out there for people who have interest to research, which we do, because we have lovingly created this program with a lot of research and respect. So yes, there is definitely a lot of science that we'll be talking about.
Would
Okay,
just like to add to that, Rishi.
sure.
Uh, there is, like Dr. Nupur said, a lot of science to it, and we'll be sharing the references in the programs. We will not only be sharing the content, but where it comes from, so people can research it for themselves. But there are two, three sources I would like to mention for anybody who's interested. One is the work done by Dr. Robert Emmons. He has been researching on gratitude for 15 years now in University of California, Davis. That's one person you could look up. Adam Grant has done a lot of, from University of Wharton, has done a lot of research on gratitude. That's the other one. And third is Janice Kaplan, whom I spoke about, who's written this book called the Gratitude Diaries. So these are a few more resources that people can look up.
Awesome. Great. Okay. One of the questions that the participants had asked, because I had told them that you're going to be doing a program, how much time do I need to spend on this gratitude thing every day?
Yeah. So the the answer to that, Rishi, is if you practice gratitude little, the returns will be little. If you practice gratitude a lot, the returns will be very high. So depending on, but the thing is, depending on what the time permits. So one of the practices we have is, say, gratitude for food. This does not require any additional time. Just while you are eating, express gratitude for the person who has cooked the food for you, express gratitude for the farmer who has grown the food for you, express gratitude for the natural elements, and all of this you can do that while you're eating, so it does not require any additional time. It's just that mindset of being grateful that we cultivate. So there are many practices like that which we share, which don't need any additional time, just requiring to make that shift, and it works beautifully.
Great. Great. Very nice. Did you want to add something, Nupur, or can I go to another
Yeah,
question?
just a quick one that, gratitude somehow creates time for people, because you'd be amazed that, almost like having a very mindful, conscious living. That's the mode that you start to operate from. And once you are more present, more grounded, it just creates life. Life has more, you have more time in your life all of a sudden. So it's quite fascinating.
Abundance of time.
Abundance of time comes up. Yeah.
Right, right. All right. Okay. Another question that came up. How can I be grateful if, okay, I think this was similar to the person who asked the question, but how can I be grateful if they have so many difficulties and problems? I think we did this one. Somebody
Yeah.
did ask it in the conference. So I'm going to skip this question. Um, Again, this one also I think was answered. It is, I am grateful for many things, but I don't see any positive effects in my life. Can you explain why this is so? Did you want to add to this, or you feel you've answered this in one of the other questions that came up?
Can you say that again? I was grateful for.
So the question is, I'm grateful for many things, but I don't see any positive effects in my life. Can you explain why this is so? I think a similar question was asked like this, so I'm not too sure whether this is a repeat question. You want to skip it,
Yeah.
or you'd like to go and
No,
answer it?
I think it's a very valid question, because sometimes what happens is that, we're looking to fix things in our life, and we come from that attitude that I need to fix this, fix that. But gratitude is actually beyond that. It is helping us to expand our consciousness. We are starting to live from a very expanded space of awareness. And when that happens, your challenges may not disappear, they will not vanish, but your ability, your resiliency, your ability to cope, manage, and be resilient, that increases. And then you start realizing that the choice is in my hands. I can choose to be miserable all my life, but then yes, absolutely, it's your choice. But then with gratitude, it becomes harder to be miserable, because you find so many reasons to smile. So I think it'll be a journey, but we welcome you on that journey if you're open.
Great, great, fabulous. Okay, I have one more thing that I've been wanting to ask actually. That I'm not trying to put you guys on the spot over here, but I managed to get two of my coaches on the school.webnews.in. We do a thing called Q&A with, and then Anup or Arti or something like that. So I managed to negotiate a deal with them where I continuously market their programs for them. But in exchange, I take like a 1 hour in a month to do questions live. Is that something I can push for you guys to do as well? 1 hour a month.
Why not, Rishi? We are in this for this only. I think from my side, I can say, and Ashish also, it's almost like when you are passionate about what you do, you don't mind, bring it on. Yes, absolutely. What do you say, Ashish?
I like it. Bring it on.
Okay, great. So then that's good because I can already see some registration has come through. So we are going to tell you that not only will you get access to the course live with Nupur and Ashish, but you will be able to contact them through the school itself. There's comment section, and sometimes you might just want to have this live interaction. Just open your mic and talk to them. So we'll schedule. We don't know when the date will be, but we'll schedule one month. And I think we should offer this to people who've attended the workshop rather than everybody, because uh, both the trainers, one of them said no, we should address it to everybody, and the other one said we should only address it to the students who've been through the workshop. And I felt it's important, not because we're trying to be stingy about it, but it's like you'll have an understanding. You'll do the ABC. Now I can talk to you about Shakespeare. Until you don't understand the ABC of the language, then talking about the Shakespeare might be a bit of a challenge. But I don't know. Maybe in your case, you want to address anybody and everybody. But both the trainers understood that what I'm saying is we offer this to people who've enrolled, done some basic understanding, and then come back and say, okay, now in the program you mentioned this. I've been practicing that strategy,
Yeah.
and this is my challenge that I'm having. I think that would be a more meaningful question to do in the
Probably,
Q&A session.
I
Right?
would like to agree with that, Rishi, because there is no end to discussion. You can keep an hour more here if everybody has time. We could just keep faffing around. But sometimes when you enroll for something, you show your commitment to the practice, and you honor it and you respect it. So yes, it'd be nice to go forward with that. And but having said that, maybe sometime we could also do a Q&A for people who are inquisitive, who want to know more, because sometimes people need a bit of cajoling and hand holding and understand that. So yes, absolutely open for both, but yeah, maybe initially have it for the participants.
Wonderful. Great. So Rohit is just saying thank you very much. Wonderful session. So great. Oops, sorry about that. My timer has gone off. Okay, great. So let me just set the thing back. But before I set it back to the regular price, I just want to make sure if somebody guys were to reach you, Ashish, what's your preferred mode of contact? If somebody wants to ask you a question post this session, uh, how should they get in touch with you, Ashish?
Rishi, I'm available on WhatsApp 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So during these 12 hours, people can reach out to me on WhatsApp.
Great. So I've got your number. Can I share it with the people on
Yes,
the
yes,
chat?
please, please.
All right, fabulous. And Dr. Nupur, what's the best way? I know you're in London, so people will not be able to dial international, dial
Yeah,
plus
so
four.
yeah, so
What's the best way to
maybe
get
my
in touch?
LinkedIn. I think we are. Yeah, we'll probably send you
Yes,
my LinkedIn profile,
I,
and
I think
LinkedIn
that's
has a chat feature. So yeah.
sure. Great. Let me just put that on the chat below here. Um, Rajiv is already picking up. He's saying gratitude for sharing your knowledge and gratitude.
I like that
You're a
talk.
fast learner.
Thank you, Rajiv, and likewise, a lot of heartfelt gratitude to each one of you for being present here and being sharing this time with us. Thank you.
Awesome, great. So thank you once again. I've put the contact details here. I will also be sending it by email because I do send the recording of this webinar itself in case some people missed it or they had to leave early. So I'll be sending you guys a copy of the recording. Plus, I'll be sending you a copy of their contact information in case you want to reach out to them on WhatsApp or on LinkedIn for Dr. Nupur. Nupur, Ashish, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Rishi.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And thank
Thank
you
you,
for
Rishi. Thank
joining
you.
this
Bye
session.
bye.
It was wonderful interacting with
See you.
everybody.
Bye. Yes. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you, guys. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.